there'd always be a square dance. And it was always sort of hand in hand with outdoor enthusiasts, so I just wanted to contribute that as a community builder. And so down south, we had the hurrah cloggers come in and, clog and the band, and, I clogged with them in Blacksburg, and it was just a time we could all celebrate. And I like the connection of the hands, and in some dancing, this connection with the eyes. And so to see all these introverts and supposedly introverts, all together dancing with smiles on their faces, that's what it symbolizes to me. Well, like down south, we would have what's called square dancing, old-time square dancing. And then when we went up to Hanover in 1990, it's called contra dancing up in New England. So we would have a contra dance up New England. But over the years, as the organization got larger in terms of membership and so forth, the amount of people who danced or actually participated in the dance has decreased. And I think it's just a sign of the times in terms of changing membership and who comprises the organization now. So. Well, I think it's a recharging. To me, we grew up on Ed Garvey's book, Adventure of a Lifetime, and I said, why does it have to be an adventure of a lifetime? Why do we have to follow this model? You work all your life, you raise a family, and then you have your adventure of a lifetime. Well, you can have lots of adventures in your lifetime, and so I think one of the nicest things I've seen with the gathering is give people a support group to keep on walking, if that's what they want to do, if that's what makes them happy. That, it's not socially irresponsible. It may be socially unacceptable, but it's not socially irresponsible. And so, to give people that support. And early on, we always had seminars. How can they afford to keep walking? People wanted to know what were the practical things. We have Albie Pockrob, Cindy Ross, myself, multiple through hikers, Leonard Atkins. And so what was nice about it is that I saw people incorporate the trail into their lives. They made their avocation their vocation. And I think having that support group where you didn't feel alone helped. I think the gathering's even more important nowadays with all this information superhighway. I will never, ever think that nothing can compare to the face-to-face interaction. And, with the information superhighway, I've seen more mean-spiritedness than I've ever seen in any gathering. And there's a danger to that. Well, the first gathering, we still had pigs at the Folklife Center and burros and stuff, and the pigs got out one day when everyone was over at the college, and they ransacked a couple people's tents. So that was the big thing, like the second gathering in the advertisement. I said, we said, we'll make sure that we don't have any rampaging porkers, pigs going through people's tents. That was the big thing. 1985 was special. That was 3 years into the 82, 83, the fourth gathering. It just seemed that class had a lot of people that were, just feelers, just their spirits seemed to meld into what ALDHA was about. And I always remember, it was a lot of work putting on the gathering, but I enjoyed it, and there was satisfying moments. And I remember at the end of that gathering, they all just got in a big old group hug at the end in front of the College Center. That really, that to me said, the dance, that sort of thing, the laughter, the connection, that sort of said, this needs to be continued, and I want to help continue it, And then, eventually, we always thought that it would be good to try to find places where people from New England don't have to drive all the way down to West Virginia. And finally, came around where people were able to get Dartmouth and the Dartmouth Outing Club, and it worked out good. So the whole thing was the ideal thing is to rotate it among the regions, just like the ATC does with their conference. But it's been pretty much Pipestem and Hanover alternating.
If you could sum up, like, as an overall personal feeling about the whole nature of the gathering and the kind of human connections there, how would you put it?
Of the gathering?
Yeah, just.
Sacred time and place. a sacred time and place. And because it's sacred to me, it hurts me sometimes when people don't see it that way. I'm a social change educator, and you know, what I see at the gathering is what I'd like to see in the world. And you don't change the world, you know, by overthrowing governments or changing economic systems. You change the world by seeing people, you know, what makes them happy reinforced. You know, I just, you know, when I ran Hemlock Overlook, you know, at George Mason, you know, a lot of my staff were outdoor ed, but most of my staff were through hikers because I knew they were hard workers, they were disciplined, you know, they were flexible, they could work in all sorts of weather, and for many of them, they wanted to share their joy of their outdoors with other people. And they were looking for ways. I've seen a lot of people blossom as well, just because of the support they've gotten through ALDHA. You know, they might have been more, you know, not as social and stuff, and because of ALDHA and the friends that they made through ALDHA, they've become more, how would I say, socially adept people, which to me is important. Well, the Trail Jeopardy, I wanted to have the gathering, you know, to have, you know, dance, to have some really good, you know, speakers and slideshows to inspire us to keep on doing what we're doing. I wanted to be informative for people, but I also wanted it to be just fun as well. You know, I wanted, you know, I didn't want it to be all controversy and serious stuff and informative stuff. And part of the fun thing was, you know, the cliff jumping on Sunday morning, you know, right at the break of day, which, you know, lasted for 23 years of the 24 years. The contra dance was a fun thing, or square dance, you know, the clogging. And the first thing we did was, you know, we'd only have one activity, and it was like trail trivia. It was just a goof on Trail Jeopardy. And of course, back then there wasn't any sort of reality TV or anything like that. You know, it was just a nice play for just to have fun, and it, you know, a lot of laughter, you know, through the years for Trail Jeopardy or Trail Trivia. And then we added the hiking game, which was a spoof of the dating game. And for a while there, these were at the gatherings in Pipestem. That was the only thing that would go on, so everyone could get together and laugh at each other, laugh with each other, you know, but never laugh at people. And it was fun. And that's lost some of it, you know, over the years.